Imagine your daughter, your sister, your mother, or your aunt, one day forced into a female sex trafficking ring, with no way out, no one to turn to, and no hope for their future. Female sex trafficking is a problem. Female sex trafficking is a problem because it robs school-age girls from a proper education. Trafficked victims tend to become mentally ill, involved in dangerous and violent crimes later on in life, and abuse substances. Lastly, it vastly spreads sexually transmitted infections and diseases. First off, female sex trafficking is a problem because it robs school-age girls from a proper education. According to the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, girls trafficked into prostitution are very unlikely to be provided with enough time and encouraging atmosphere to go to school, to study, or to develop other skills necessary for a career change. Some girls manage to practice their reading skill, but most of them do not. As a result, their future life and career are lined with fewer opportunities compared to those who have access to education. School-age girls who are sex trafficked do not have access to a proper education, further robbing them from their right to an education. Darlene, native to the Oakland, California area, was introduced to sex trafficking by her so-called boyfriend, but in reality, he's a pimp. This was at the age of 15, and she was unable to go to school at this time. A year or so later, she states, "I got back in school and I graduated high school with like 20 extra credits," says Darlene, who has 2 jobs and is planning to attend college. "When I was 15, I didn't see myself alive at the age of 18, and now I am 18, and I can look back and say, you know, I've been through all that, and I've come out of it. It feels wonderful." Imagine a girl you know around that age forced into this unruly world. Female sex trafficking is a problem because victims who are trafficked tend to become mentally ill and become involved in dangerous and violent crimes and tend to abuse substances as well. The Servants Anonymous Society states that trafficked children are significantly more likely to develop mental health problems, abuse substances, engage in prostitution as adults, and either commit or be victimized by violent crimes later in life. Substance abuse, mental illness, and violent crimes are found to be a problem among females who are sex trafficked. In situations, the youths have become addicted to drugs. The traffickers simply can use their ability to supply them with drugs as a means of control, indicated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. These youths have easy access to drugs, considering their pimp, as they would call it, provides it as a means to control their behavior. Amira, who is now becoming a successful adult with a beautiful family, has experienced child molestation, child sex slavery, homelessness as a teen, and severe drug addiction. There were many events in her lifetime that led to her becoming addicted to drugs, she states. With drugs, you can get the connection of a loving community. It's just not a healthy community. And just like Amira, other trafficked girls are looking for love. Lastly, sex trafficking is a problem because it vastly spreads sexually transmitted infections and diseases. Stated by PubMed, approximately 10% of female sex workers met criteria for trafficking as an entry mechanism to sex work, compared with their non-trafficked counterparts. Sex-trafficked female sex workers were more likely to have experienced sexual violence at initiation to sex work, recent workplace violence, or mistreatment, recent condom failure, condom non-use, and abortion. According to the Servants Anonymous Society, women who have been trafficked for the purpose of sexual exploitation experience a significantly higher rate of HIV and other STDs as well as AIDS. Sex trafficked victims are more likely to contract sexually transmitted infections and diseases due to the amount of exploitation they encounter, spreading the diseases one person at a time. Medea Astu Diao claims, "Sex workers have told us that when they ask a client to use a condom, he offers double the price to have sex without the condom. These women are trying to provide for their children and families, so they take the offer. Obviously, these women forced into this world are not using protection so that they can make more money to provide for their families, further making them at risk for sexually transmitted infections and diseases. What if this was your situation? What would you do?" This is a topic I hold very near and dear to me. We have just discovered why female sex trafficking is a problem. These reasons were that female sex trafficking robs school-age girls from a proper education. Trafficked victims tend to become mentally ill, involved in dangerous or violent crimes later on in life, and abuse substances. And lastly, it vastly spreads the sexually transmitted infections and diseases. Slavery is a conception us humans may never understand. Many actually still believe it ceases to exist. That is ignorance. Although human sex trafficking is one form of human trafficking, um, it's just getting worse. So stand up, make a difference, because who knows? That girl you know may be or may become a victim. That you also come to be the girl you once knew.